You took a pregnancy test and you just saw two lines, or maybe you have a digital one screaming pregnant, and you're probably wondering, okay, what to do now? I've been there before, and today I'm just going to walk you through step by step what to do from the moment that you find out that you're pregnant. So no pressure, nothing overwhelming. Let's get into it. Hi guys, and welcome back to AKA Mama. My name is Tafara, and this is a space, where I talk about my motherhood journey, parenting, and just raising a child abroad. So getting back into today's topic, the very first thing that you should do, this is underrated, but just breathe. Whether this was planned, whether it was not planned, whether it was something in between, just take a moment to ground yourself and, think clearly. So even if you've taken one or many, many tests at home and they've confirmed that you're pregnant, the next logical thing you should do is to schedule an appointment with a doctor or a midwife, so you can get this medically confirmed. So that's either going to be with a blood test or an ultrasound or a urine sample. It's just really important for any further decisions that you make to have your pregnancy medically confirmed. All right, this is one that I also put right up there. You need to start taking your prenatal vitamins. So if somebody shares their good news with me, one of the first things I'll ask is, are you on prenatal vitamins? They're really, really important, especially folic acid, because it helps prevent neural tube defects in those first few weeks when the baby is just forming. So of course, when you speak, with your medical expert, they're going to make recommendations of which prenatal vitamins you should already be taking. But between, depending on how fast you get an appointment, between the point that you get one and, the point that you find out, you should really make sure that you're already taking prenatal vitamins. Next one is an absolute no-brainer for me, but surprisingly enough, it's not a no-brainer for everybody. Cut out alcohol, no more smoking. You need to find out if you're on any medication, or whether the medication you're taking is pregnancy safe or not. And also, you now need to swap, things like soft cheese and deli meats for things your doctor says are safe. So you need to now inform yourself about foods that you're not supposed to be eating whilst you're pregnant. It's pretty easy to grasp, and a Google search can be sufficient to find out what's allowed. All right, so of course, once you've told your partner, you need to have a sit down and decide who's going to be, your support system. And your support system may look very different to your partner's support system. Is it going to be your best friend? Is it going to be your mother? Is it going to be your siblings? Whoever that is that you feel can support you emotionally, psychologically through this big milestone. You need to, agree together who those people are going to be, and agree on a timeline of when you're going to tell them. Of course, you don't have to tell everybody right in the beginning, but just align with each other on what your support system looks like. Okay, so of course you need to call your gynecologist to schedule a first appointment. If you already have a midwife, which is very uncommon, but if you have one, you can already reach out to them, right? And this, they schedule an appointment usually around 8 weeks, but some providers, they will see you earlier. So they'll go over what to expect, they'll test your blood, and maybe even show you, the first flicker of a heartbeat. Yeah, at this point, your body is already doing wild things, and you may not necessarily be able to feel it, but already start prioritizing getting a lot of rest, staying hydrated, and just really taking good care of yourself. Every pregnancy is very different, and not everybody feels ready when they do fall pregnant. So, of course, you do have options regardless of where you live, but it's important to find out what those options are, right? If you're unsure, talk to a doctor, talk to a counselor, or find a support group. Whatever you choose, it's your journey, and just make sure that as early as possible, you get the right form of support that you're going to need throughout your pregnancy. Because the further down the pregnancy you are, the more tired and exhausted you are. So you really need to maximize the early phase for, setting the groundwork. Start reading, watching, and educating yourself. So reliable sources are really, really, really important. You can also attend prenatal classes, do whatever you have to do to give you confidence to understand what's happening within your body and what lies ahead. The last item I'm going to highlight, I'll classify it a bonus tip because I don't know if I would have been mentioning this today if it wasn't for the experience that I had. So my initial due date was end of April, and at 7 weeks pregnant, I started, trying to find a midwife because I knew that here in Cologne it's very difficult to get a midwife. And the first three I contacted, they actually declined. They're like, sorry, we're not available. Of which technically they were available, but they said, your due date is around Easter. I'm not sure if my family and I are going on vacation or not. And I was thinking, wow, I mean, I didn't pick this due date, but at least I started looking as early as 7 weeks, right? Retrospectively, I'm happy things panned out the way that they did because I was very, 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 very happy with the midwife I got. She was so good. Like, from a competency level, I would give her 12 out of 10, and she did an amazing job. So I don't know if I would have been as happy with the first three that I contacted that actually were like, uh, of which with the one that I got, she said to me, your due date is around Easter, but whatever happens, we're gonna work it out. That's the kind of attitude you need. Like, okay, I was confident. But on that midwife topic, if you watch my previous episode, I did mention that one of my friends said to me, Tafara, what does a midwife actually do? So, in my next video, I'm going to be talking about why it's important to get a midwife and what their core responsibilities are, and elaborate on how they can support you during pregnancy and postpartum. Being pregnant is life changing, so whether you're excited about it, whether you're panicking, or you're still processing, the good news is you don't have to, decide everything today. And if you're looking for real, honest content about, pregnancy, newborn, and postpartum, hit the subscribe button, like this video, and share with your friends and family. See you next time.
Like, comment, subscribe, and share.